Kenya has a way of almost promising you, hang in there, or it's coming around. You get paid at the end of the month. And as you continue, time goes. And your kids are still there looking at you funnily. So
because ule mse anameka $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, akiluzi your job, hakuna job kama hiyo ingine ataget anytime soon. Dombolo, ni name na nini ingine nafaa niseme?
Uko wapi?
Uko wapi na social security ni gani?
Dombolo, Baltimore. Iko sawa?
Sawa. Karibu.
So I just wanted nilisikiza interview, nimesikia Doki akiongea, nimesikia Kimani akiongea, Kola.
Yes.
And mujaribu ku summarize vitu in ways that make sense to me, because I consider advice hata ya lawyer, hata ya daktari to be more informational than authoritative. And what I mean is, at the end of the day, the authority lies in the decision maker, which is you.
Yes.
If you go do something and you get a lawyer, akupatia advice umsikize, you will do the time or you will enjoy the freedom. The lawyer might have a steak dinner with you, but that's about it. If you go to a doctor, it's the same thing. The doctor gives you advice. If it works out, you leave. If it doesn't work out, you die. So advice generally, even these conversations, are mostly informational, not authoritative, so that then, and the idea is to have as diverse conversations as we can. So I have a tighter relationship with Kenya because I have kids that live in Kenya. Right now, my 5-year-old, ako shule inaitwa, what is the name of that school? Iko Baha, Maria Immaculate. But I'm a transfer and a Shepherd Junior. Just because of bus and transportation. So what the previous caller said, my firstborn who's in London now, Ali and Kenya for 1 year. Like I try to do that thing where my kids understand the place so that there's a connection. But what I was trying to say is, story to move home, right? So ukitoa story ya tapa, because once for those people who are financially secure or come from a family that has money, these issues generally don't apply to them. We're talking about the rest of us who want to go to invest, blah, 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 right? So if you have the finances sorted, I think it's okay. But then here, you need to make that romanticization. So there's the expectation, the reality, your mindset about the difference between the two, and then the opportunities that you have. And I'll explain. So, of course, when in the home, Kimani was going home with the idea of changing the country, blah, 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 blah. Then reality hits, right? Once that reality hits, what's your mindset? I think a lot of people working in their home, they go home, but they take America home with them. And it's that the caller ule alikuwa anaongea Kiswahili alikuwa anasema, and I don't think sometimes you notice when you do it, but we do it. And kumbuka, like kuna vitu utafanya ama kuna vile utasema ama vile bandio alisema, una red light unasimama, they'll know you're not from here. In those economies, in those parts of Africa, and I've traveled East Central Africa, those isn't economies of survival at any given levels, because ule mse anameka $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, akiluzi your job, hakuna job kama hiyo ingine ataget anytime soon. So there's a lot of, I'm going to use the word protectionism. I don't know if that's grammatically correct in any position. Wewe ukiwa mgeni, like anywhere else, there's a lot of suspicion. There's a lot of suspicion. So you have to first change management on it a buy-in. You have to create buy-in into who you are, what you bring, what you represent, and find ways to make it clear that you're not there to violate what they value, but to add value to it. And that sometimes can be challenging, but there are ways to do it, and I'll give an example, right? So your mindset of how you adjust. Before I give the example, there's one thing I want to say hapo kwa mindset. Najua mmesema mnataka kuinterview mtu ambaye ameishi Kenya, aliishi tu for 15 years, ameishi Kenya for more than 10 years, and then mongeza condition nyingine very challenging, that huyo mtu hakuwa na opportunity ya kurudi. Because of course, the moment mtu ako na opportunity ya kurudi US, na mtu ako na pesa ya familia, wako kind of similar, they have outs. I think for us to have the mindset, mtu anataka kupata mindset ya kurudi home, na I think Bandio has been alluding to this. What's your mindset? Tuna need to interview mtu ameenda home, ndio hakuwa na option, but they figured out how to make it work. How are they able to get buy-in? How are they able to, because just because you can't come back, they don't know that when they see you. You still unanuka marashi, unaanza kusema, back in Boston or Cambridge or whatever, people say to make you like, hujamasi wapa. How do they adjust to the point where they find success? Because even mtu akona option ya kurudi, hizo tools zitamsaidia sana kuweza kuadjust ndio apate success kama mtu ambaye haizi rudi. Because I think that is the winning mindset. Ukiniuliza, I'll tell you, the people I've seen succeed are the people succeed and succeed well, are the people without the option of coming back. The people who could come back, came back. Now, there was a project I was trying to work on. Uko kwetu Eastlands, uko kwetu East Komabis. Public, hakuna place ya kucheza mahali sisi tulikuwa tunachezea. Most grounds other than ya Toyoyo, Jerry, ama ground ingine kama Hadu, all those grounds zimechukuliwa. Now there are buildings between Kaburu kwetu, between Church of God and Nashopi, those are ground, hapo sasa kuna apartments. The only place that they have still playgrounds ni kwa primary schools. Bidii primary school where I went, Martin Luther, hizo shule zote bado ziko na playground. And I was trying to approach politicians, senior leaders, even in this current administration, kuambia skiza, we can work on a project, we can pilot a project, do a private-public partnership, kama sabidi, tuonge nao, tuwatengeneze tafa, ama tutengeneze standi, kona bleachers, the school uses it on weekdays, and then we allow the community around kujaga weekdays, wacheze ligi ndogo, blah, 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 blah. We involve parents. Itasaidia kureduce crime. Because these kids, they grow up, they have, wako tu kwa base, wamekaa from a very young age, hakuna uwanja, so hakuna ball, hakuna organization, right? And I was really pitching this thing, and I could not understand why it was not sticking. I talked to a lot of people. And then I talked to a returnee who's been in Kenya for a while, and I pitched this thing. And he listened to me, he told me it's a very good idea, but who does it benefit? I'm like, the kids, crime, nini, improvement, blah, blah, blah. He told me, you're never going to go anywhere with that. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, everyone you talk to in this country primarily looks at how do I benefit from this situation. So he told me, in that thing of yours, if when you're talking to the politicians, you would spin it and tell them, this would get you votes, this would get your name out there, this for you. So you make them see the advantage for themselves, so that you still get a goal, but you don't focus on your goal. You focus on what they benefit out of it. And then you're able, and I was like, wow. But by the time when we talk, I think I wanted to run for a political office, and I changed my mind. Anyway, so what my plea out of all this thing, ni mwadjastio, mtafute tu mtu akona anaweza saidia hapa kwa mindset ya mtu ame succeed. I think a lot of conversations are around people that have gone and it hasn't worked, and we know what's not working, and I think we were kind of getting a gist of that. We need to know what's working, and I think the only way to get that is from someone who has actually made it.
Yes, DB, but one real quick thing, DB, before you go, we do want that person who has succeeded, but you've alluded yourself that person we are looking for does not exist. You said it indirectly, meaning that a lot of people who have an option to come back tend to come back. And that's the reason why we are having difficulty in finding this person that we are looking for. And the question here is, DB, is why are all the people with an option to come back coming back? And I think this is a bigger policy issue.
Maybe not all.
No, not all of them. No, of course not all. Of course not all. No, it's of course not all. But it's a good majority of them who are coming back. And I think the question that we are all trying to avoid, because there's two sides here. There's a side that is giving reality. We stayed here. This is what happened, and we are coming back. And then there's another side that's saying, apana, like these guys are failures. You guys are focusing on failure stories. We've been asking for these success stories. And like you alluded yourself, DB, that condition is very difficult to meet because a good majority of those who meet that condition tend to come back. And I think the big question we should be asking is why is that the case? And we actually do not mind, by the way. By the way, DB, ngoja
tunataka to close, kwa hiyo
ngoja kidogo DB.
What are you I tell you why.
Ngoja, yes, you'll tell me. But DB, ngoja.
Those who succeeded, and I know a few, they come back because they want their kid to have the benefits of an American education with the scholarships, blah, blah, blah. Those people who I know who've gone, succeeded, they didn't come back because Kenya wasn't working. They came back so their kids can get and I know a good number of them. That
so DB
went back.
Okay.
They were working. Everything was working. They have their salaries, but they come back so their kids, because an American education in this world, unless it changes, in
DB.
this world,
DB.
opens quite a number of doors.
Okay, got your point taken.
Right,
can we give
need to wrap it up?
Can we give you the homework to find us one person? Because everybody is telling us this. Everyone is telling that. Give us a success story. Can we give you the homework?
But success is relative.
Okay, whatever their definition is.
But at the same time,
whatever the definition is.
Hapo akaanza kumention success zao za Kenya and then wataminywa huko.
Lakini ndo nasema.
I'm telling you. I know. I'm from East Africa.
Lakini ndo nasema DB. I want DB. And I want people who are listening to know. We are talking practical things.
The very same issue, Ali.
Yes.
Mtu akija hapa akaanza kuzungumza nimesucceed Kenya hivi na hivi, watu kule watasema so unaanza kubrag and then unaanza kufanya vitu
okay.
Bado kuna challenge nyingine kupata.
Yes. Yeah.
The reality of success is this. It requires one of two things. A lot of patience, like the caller who talked before me, or adjusting to the system and knowing how to play that game. The reason most people who've succeeded will probably not come on air and tell on air how they succeeded is to play that game that is played there. That game, the things sometimes you have to do to be able to say, hey, how do they talk? They talk quickly because 5% of Mimi. There's a guy I know who started a tracking business.
Yep.
This is the last.
Exactly what I was saying.
1 minute. Your time.
What? Sawa. Na to say, this guy alikuwa track zake alikuwa in Uganda, Rwanda. And what he had done, hii hesabu ya seto anasema, okay, it will cost gas, mafuta petroli, it will cost 500k for load moja. But then there are people who are telling him, mimi nalipanga 6 million per 7. I'm like, why do you put gas ya petroli ya pesa mingi hivyo? Guess what? When he started doing that business, he realized that truck zake always, because madereva wa lori wanaibanga mafuta. That's how they make the extra money. That's how they survive. So he realized that mzigo yake inakwama, clients wana complain, blah blah blah. Then an old man told him, just charge. Wapatie hiyo watu wakule. Wapatie hiyo 700k, mzigo yako itafika on time, you'll be reliable, just build the customer. And he said from the day aliacha waibiwe, from that day onwards, biashara yake inaran poa. The adjustments that have to be made.
Straight of Hormuz.
No, they were paying for they were paying more than they should. That's what I'm telling you. The reason to get that person who may succeed, because to succeed, it takes things like that. That's just one example.
You can never.
Thank you. That's good. So,
okay. All right.
Because success kwenye nchi zetu ni kama kuvaa new underwear. It's fun to have it, it's good to have it, lakini huwezi kuionyesha.
But tunaona bandio, and I'm gonna let Kimani have the last word. There's definitely gonna be a part 2.
Well, we need to wrap this up.
There's definitely gonna be a part 2.
One mic ameanza kusinzia huko.
Yeah, Kimani, we've already enrolled you for part 2 without asking your permission.
Na sivae angolo, akuje bila angolo.
So, but I think, I think the common problem I'm personally having with people, and I think it's fair enough to say, like when you move to Kenya, like comply with how people live there. That is fair enough. But then there are certain things, like Pamela was talking about, like for example, like bribery, and these issues, like if you want to be successful, these are the things that you must do. I think it's very problematic when everyone starts saying, and that's in the diaspora and even people living in Kenya, that this is what we need to do for success.
I'm not sure, Ali, what do you mean by complying? Because even moving here, you did comply to some other stuff, right?
Yes.
So, maybe to what extent can you comply?
Donasema, your compliance, for example, if compliance means, for example, bribing to get paid what's rightfully yours, I think that's a problematic compliance. And that's why Pamela was saying, if enough of us, ama kama vile Kimani alisema, he spent a night, like in a jail cell. I've had my experience with getting
na pesa, sema kweli.
I've had my experience with trying to get an ID. Unajua ID Kenya na hizi majina zetu. I was patient enough and I got it. But the problem, I understand someone who needs it for a job next week. I understand.
Kwa hiyo Ali unaniambia uko airport. Na unajua kabisa kwamba mtu anaweza akakupitisha hapo. Na anataka $5 then the chance is utamiss flight.
Ali atampa.
No, mimi simpi.
Unajua Ali ama unamsikia.
I will miss that flight. And you see,
unajua Ali ama unamsikia.
And you see, it is not that, like I am a great person or I'm a good person.
15.
The problem, unajua problem issue, this issue of us taking these shortcuts, we pay for them indirectly. We pay for them indirectly.
You're right about that.
By poor services, because now there's an incentive to have a poor service. Unaona kama hiyo Esther alikuwa anasema ati you're deliberately given, like a phone number that doesn't work so that you can send the money directly to their M-Pesa. So I think these things, okay, and I know right now I'll be told I'm preaching, but I think these things are problematic, and as a society, we have to ask ourselves, we are constantly talking about, like our government, like Ruto stealing. I mean, he's a thief. He's a non-thief. We talk about Ruto stealing. We talk about, we talk about these things constantly.
No, you're right.
But
Ali,
then,
you're right.
At the same time, especially at a personal level, I understand there's that person who has no choice. But for people who have a choice, when you keep allowing this to happen, it gets worse, because corruption imekwako, lakini we can all agree that it's gotten worse from when we were young to where it is right now. It's gotten to a level where it's just completely
totally agree,
out of control. The last question I'm going to ask Kimani, to wrap up, how do you differentiate that this is just a tough adjustment phase or this plan is failing? How do you differentiate that, Kimani?
In short,
have goals. Just saying, I knew from the onset, without having spoken about it, it was going to be a 5-year plan. And whatever I was at that 5-year mark, I knew it was either going to be thumbs up or thumbs down. There just has to be hard metrics that you have to accept that at some point, Kenya has a way of almost promising you, hang in there, or it's coming around. You get paid at the end of the month. And as you continue, time goes.
Yeah.
And your kids are still there looking at you funnily. So you just have to have a hard standard that said, this is it.
Yeah. Right.
At this point, it ends.
So for you, the honeymoon was 9 months. So for 4 years, 3 months, you were in total hardship.
I was not total hardship. I was in
progressive hardship.
Progressive hardship. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
In a way to say that you're allowing the system to work its way out. Not expecting that, in the US, things happen when they're supposed to happen. You're accounting for, okay, around here, let me see how long it's going to take, because, I shouldn't come with my American mentality of it will be paid, net 90 days.
All right.
So you're there working with the system and saying, okay, all right, tuendelee.